Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video I'm going to show you how to play the guitar solo from the classic Foreigner song, Hot Blooded. One thing I love about this solo is it's got this very raw, loose rock and roll vibe that makes it so much fun to play. And oh, by the way, bonus points to whoever can tell me the relationship between Van Halen, the shirt I'm wearing, and the guitar player Mick Jones. Alright, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Alright, section 1 is going to go like this at normal and then slow speed. So the first thing we're going to do is play the first fret of the low E string. And we're going to bend it up one step, which takes the note from here to here. Okay, so you bend up, down, and then back up again. And that second time you bend it up, you're going to hold it for a little bit and then slowly bring it down, okay? Okay, up, hold it for a little bit, slowly bring it down. All right. Now, honestly, this is probably the first solo that I've ever learned where I'm doing a full step bend at the first fret of the low E string. It's kind of fun. All right, next up, we're going to play the 5th fret of the G string, and we're going to ultimately bend it up a full step, right, from here to here. But you'll notice the way I tabbed it, it's like I bend it up halfway and then all the way, okay? Listen closely to the original and you'll hear a slight little pause there about halfway up, okay? Okay? And then you bring it back down after you hold it for a little bit. And then pull off to the 3rd fret. Then we're going to hammer onto the 5th fret of the D string. You're not picking the note, you're hammering onto it. And giving it some vibrato. Okay? Now when I hammer onto it, instead of hammering on with my ring finger, I'm going to hammer on with my middle finger like this. Okay? The reason I do that is because in the next section, it's going to help transition. Okay? Here's the section one more time at normal and then slow speed. All right, let's move to section 2. All right, section 2 goes like this at normal and then slow speed. Okay, remember in the last section when I told you to end with your middle finger on the 5th fret of the D string? That's to help transition to this first little chord here. So you've got the 5th fret of the D with your middle finger, 5th fret of the G with your ring finger, and 6th fret of the B with your pinky. Now, that fingering is not comfortable for you. You can figure out a fingering that is more comfortable, but this is what worked for me. Okay, and notice that little symbol to the left of the chord? That just means you're kind of strumming through it. Okay, instead of playing it all at once, you're strumming through it. All right, now as soon as you strum through it, you're going to lift your finger off the D string, so then the only notes that will continue to ring out are the 5th fret of the G and the 6th fret of the B. Okay. So you'll notice my middle finger lift off after I play the little chord. All right. Then you let those 2 notes ring, 5th fret of G, 6th fret of B, and then slowly bend up the G string half a step, okay? Then at the top of that bend, you're going to pluck both of the G and B strings twice with your fingers, and then bring the bend down, okay? Then we're going to play the 3rd fret of the G, bend it up roughly 3/4 of a step, and then 5th fret of D vibrato. Here's the section one more time at normal and then slow speed. All right, let's move to section 3. Here's section 3 at normal and then slow speed. All right, first thing we're going to do is play the 5th fret of the D string, followed by the 3rd fret of the G string, bend up 1/2 step. Then we're going to play the 5th fret of the G string twice with vibrato. Then you're going to hit it again, but slide up quickly to the 7th fret, and then hit 7 again. Okay, so far. Then we're going to play the 6th fret of the B string, very quickly hammer on to the 8th fret, and then play 8th fret again with vibrato. Then we're going to play the 6th fret of the high E, quarter step up, 8th fret, 6th fret, add a pinch harmonic, then 8th fret of B, vibrato. Then you slide that 8th fret up to about the 13th and pull off to the open B. Okay? I wouldn't get too caught up on where you slide off, but it sounds like he slid off at approximately the 13th fret. But don't get too hung up on that, just slide up and off. All right, here's this section one more time at normal and then slow speed. All right, let's keep moving. Section 4 goes like this at normal and then slow speed. So first thing we're going to do is bar our index finger across the B and E strings at the 12th fret. Then we're going to play the 12th fret of B, and then play the 12th fret of E, hammer on to 15, pull off to 12. You play that twice. Then we play the 12th fret of the B followed by the 15th fret of the B, but the 15th fret you're going to bend up a full step, hold it for a little bit, give it some vibrato, okay? 12, then 15, bend up, hold it, vibrato. Then we're going to play 15th fret of B followed by 12th fret of B, then 14th fret of G, bend up a full step, back down quickly, pull off to 12. Here's this section one more time at normal and then slow speed. All right, let's move to section 5. All right, section 5 goes like this at normal and then slow speed. So the first thing you want to do is bar one of your fingers across the D and G strings at the 14th fret, but you're sliding up to the 15th and then pulling off. Okay? And then you play open D and G again. Okay? Then you're going to play the 12th fret of the D and G. I use my index finger now, and play those two notes and pull off to open D and G. And then D and G again. Okay? You do that pattern 5 times. Then you're going to do another slide up to the 15th fret of D and G and pull off to the open strings. And then another 12th fret of D and G, pull off to open. Then you're going to play 14th fret of the D, 12th of the G, and 13th of the B. And then 12 of D and G, slide down. All right, here's the section one more time at normal and then slow speed. Let's move to section 6. All right, section 6 goes like this at normal and then slow speed. All right, now with this part, certainly you can improvise and do it a little bit differently, but you guys who have watched my lessons know that I like to get it as accurate to the original as possible, so I want to catch all the little nuances and things in the playing, as awkward as they may sound. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to slide up to the 15th fret of the G and B strings. I use my ring finger for that. Then you're going to play, while you're holding your finger across those strings now, you're barring across G, B, and E now. You're going to play 15th fret of high E, 15th fret of B, and then the G and B again at the 15th fret. And you're going to bend those up, hold them for a little bit, and then bring them back down. You'll notice the way I tab it, you see how there's a 1/2 above the full. Basically, what that's trying to imply, what that implies is that you're bending up the G string a full step and the 15th fret of the B string a half step. That's just kind of what happens naturally when you do that sort of double stop movement. Then we're going to play the 13th fret of the high E followed by the 13th fret of the B. It's in parentheses on the B because it's more of a silent or more silent note. Then we're going to play the 15th fret of the G, bend up a full step, hold it for a little bit, and then hit the 15th fret of the B, bring both down. Then we're going to play the 12th fret of the D and G. Okay, you're going to kind of strum through it. You see that little symbol? And then hammer on to the 14th fret of the G, pull off to the 12th. Okay? And then you're going to slide down the D string at the 12th fret. Okay? I told you it was going to get a little bit quirky. So again, 12th fret of D and G, hammer on to 14, pull off to 12, but then slide down just with the D string. Then we're going to slide up to the 19th fret of the E string and back down, and then back up to the 16th fret and pull off to open E. Okay? You don't have to play it exactly like that. You can just try to come close. Because again, this is a very kind of loose kind of feeling solo. So don't get worried if you don't hit those notes exactly. Just kind of get to those approximate spaces. All right? You can just... Most people aren't going to know. All right, here's the section one more time at normal and then slow speed. All right, let's keep moving. All right, section 7 goes like this at normal and then slow speed. Another quirky section, all right? This is where I was talking about that note that he barely hits, right? I love it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to play the 15th fret of the G string. We're going to bend it up 2 steps, ultimately, which is from here to here. Notice once again that there's a tiny bit of a pause about halfway through, okay? All right, then you bring it back down. Then we're going to play the 12th fret of the B string, and then the 15th fret of the B, but you're going to bend it up 2.5 steps, which takes the note from here to here. That's a really big bend, okay? It helps to use lighter gauge strings. I use 9 gauge strings, but be careful with that one, okay? If you don't feel comfortable doing a 2.5 step bend, then you might have to get a little creative during this section, but that's what he does, okay? It's kind of a slow bend too. Then we're going to do a little scratch note on the high E, and then 15th fret of the B, slide down. And then it feels like approximately 12th fret of B, slide up. But don't get too hung up on that. You can slide up from lower down on the fretboard, which is what I typically do. Then we've got that little note that he almost misses. And that's at the 20th fret of the B string. So you're going to hammer onto that. Give it a little vibrato. And if it sounds a little bit dead, sounds a little bit weak, It'll make it sound more like the original, but don't get too hung up on that. And then 12th fret of the G, slide down. Here's the section one more time at normal and then slow speed. All right, let's move to the final section. All right, section 8, the final section is going to go like this. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is play the open G string, and then you're going to be doing a trill, so basically hammering on and pulling off from the 2nd fret. Okay? Don't get caught up on how many times you do the trill, just go with what feels right. Then we're going to bend up at the 2nd fret of the G string a half a step, and then back down and pull off to the open string. Then we're going to play the 3rd fret of the A string, bend up a full step, and then give it kind of a wide vibrato. All right? And then from there, he kind of holds that bend and he kind of dips down a little bit, but don't get too hung up on that. Just do what feels right, okay? Here's the section one more time. Alright, that was my lesson on how to play the guitar solo from the classic Foreigner song, Hot Blooded. If you found it helpful or informative, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and please hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I will attempt to answer them as time allows. Until next time, rock on.